Hello everybody, welcome back to the video, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So this is actually going to be a behind the scenes, well, part one of behind the scenes for my video on my favorite Doctor Who stories. I wanted to share the innermost thought processes of my brain going through Doctor Who's 300 stories to narrow it down to my 10, maybe 15 favorites. It's going to be one of those two numbers. So I have the seasons and a bunch of specials on here set up because that's the way that I'm doing this. So let's get started. Season wise, the first, by the way, this is going to be removing seasons that I don't think have a contender to go on the list. And this is going to be the early knockout round. So our first one up, season 15, with 6 stories off the board. I am going to try to point out a highlight that while I think it's a good story, I don't think it's a contender. Season 15, I like Image of the Findal, but it isn't a contender to go on the list. So, season 18 is the next one to be removed. I like the Keeper of Traken, and Legopolis is okay, but they're not real contenders. Okay, so chronologically here, next up, season 20. Now you might notice the Five Doctors is under it. That's because the Five Doctors it's kind of like the Day of the Doctor. It wasn't aired as part of a main season. So, yeah. And our final classic season, we don't actually have that many classic knockouts, but season 24, Dragonfire is pretty good, but not a contender. I do like that final scene of the season from Dragonfire, which is Mel's departure and Ace's, not introduction, but her first, her joining the TARDIS. So, yeah, the 60s makes it through this round almost unscathed. Because this down here, these are the stories I've yet to see. I have seen some reconstructions. You might notice the Massacre isn't on this list, and that's because I did see the Massacre reconstruction, and that's very good. We're going to talk about that one later. So, Mythmakers gets removed, Master Plan gets removed, Toymaker gets removed, Savages gets removed, Smugglers gets removed, the Highlanders is knocked out, the Space Pirates is knocked out, and Marco Polo is knocked out. Now, Underwater Menace I have seen, and Mission to the Unknown I saw the recon that the University of Central Lincolnshire did. It's a very good reconstruction. I would highly recommend checking it out. The Crusade, planning on watching that in time for part 2. So, moving on to the Revival. And our first one is Series 6. I mean, if I had to pick a good one, it's, I think, probably A Good Man Goes to War. Series 7 also gets knocked out, where the Angels Take Manhattan is probably the highlight of that season, but yeah. Alright, controversial one, Series 10 of the Revival. A lot of people love this season, and I get it. The World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls is pretty good, but I mean, in comparison to other Capaldi episodes, I really can't say it's the best one, or a contender for the best one. Top 10 Capaldi, yes, but lower top 10. Series 11 also gets knocked out. No real standouts to me. This is sort of a weird season. 12, it gets by with literally 2. The opening of Spyfall and The Haunting of Villa Diodati. So that one moves on. Series 13 is, okay, Flux is a great episode, but that's part of a serial. It would be like me picking out specifically Caves of Androzani episode 4 and saying it's incredible while, so, I mean, I'm just picking a random story there. Caves is incredible, but I was just picking a random one. Actually, I guess a better example would be Genesis of the Daleks, saying episode 4 is great, the other one's not so much. Genesis is really good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just picking a 4-part story. So now we get to prune some Christmas specials. Pruning the technical term from Loki. Christmas Invasion, Runaway Bride, Voyage, Next Doctor, Planet of the Dead, End of Time, Dr. Widow Wardrobe, Time of the Doctor, Last Christmas, Doctor Mysterio, Twice Upon a Time. Which brings us up through the Whittaker era, and you might notice that I did skip over a few. Waters of Mars, definitely need to go back and check that one out again. A Christmas Carol, fantastic. The Snowman is incredible. Day of the Doctor, Husbands of River Song, those are all staying. Moving on to the Whittaker one, Resolution is okay, but I don't think it's a contender. Revolution is pretty good. Not the biggest fan of Eve of the Daleks, even though I do like time loops, and this one mentions Groundhog Day, which is a really good movie. Legend of the Sea Devils gets pruned, leaving The Power of the Doctor. So, that leaves our current stats at, if I should have the number right, that knocks out 92 out of 300 stories. So, pretty much a third. So, yeah, there's still a lot left to go. But I did this to sort of remove a bunch of them to think, okay, well, I'm not including that one. So, yeah. Also, let me know if you think it's cheating to have the 5 Doctors separate from season 20. But the rest, even if you do count 5 Doctors in with season 20, it's the rest of season 20 would still be not in contention. So, next time we're going to be covering some seasons that stuck around for 1 or 2 great episodes, along with some of the other stuff. So, yeah, you might notice that the Power of the Doctor in Series 12 are the only Whittaker era episodes that are safe. For now, anyway. We'll be getting to those. Actually, who knows? Maybe we'll just knock out Series 12 next time. But either way, this is a good start. And yeah, 60s made it through unscathed. The Pertwee era did as well. We still have the TV movie. We have all of the Russell T Davies seasons. And several specials. Somehow, the only Tennant one left is Waters of Mars. Interesting. Did not realize that going into this. So, yeah, we still have a bunch to go through. But this is sort of the simplistic one. Now, we get into the nitty-gritty with the next part. But that is it for part 1 of the behind the scenes for my top 10 or top 15 Doctor Who stories list. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.